that, gentlemen? Well, let's see. Bachelor number one is a successful photographer who got his start when his father found him in the dark room at the age of 13, fully developed. Between takes, he might find him skydiving or motorcycling. Please welcome Rodney Alcala. Rod, welcome. And it's time to meet a young lady for game number one, and here she is. Here is a young lady with a wealth of experience. She once earned a living.
The dating game killer murdered at least 4 people before his television appearance and will kill again soon after. For most people, September the 13th, 1978 was ordinary Wednesday, but for Cheryl Bradshaw, the bachelorette on the TV matchmaking show The Dating Game, the day was momentous. From a lineup of eligible bachelors, she chose the handsome bachelor number one, Rodney Alcala, a.k.a. the dating game killer. But at that rare moment, he was keeping a deadly secret. He was a serial killer. If not for a healthy jolt of women's intuition, Bradshaw would almost certainly be remembered today as one of Alcala's victims. Instead, after the show ended, she conversed with Alcala backstage. He offered her a date she'd never forget, but Bradshaw got the feeling that her handsome potential suitor was a little off.
Ask you a question. Will that date be bachelor number one, bachelor number two, or bachelor number three? Who gets the dates?
Well, I like bananas, so I'll take one.
Number one, bachelor number one, all right. Well, there they go. However, you did leave one remaining, and this is your date, and I want to tell you something about him, Cheryl. He's a skydiver, so he's got a lot of nerve. He's into motorcycling. He's also a fine photographer. Say hello to Rodney Alcala. Rodney, come on and say hello. Congratulations, Rod. You did it with the one answer. Well, as far as I can see, Cheryl and Rodney, it looks like the two of you may be involved in some sort of racket. So we're going to have you take to the court. Oh, first you'll receive tennis lessons from expert Naomi Besa.
I started to feel ill, Bradshaw told the Sydney Telegraph in 2012. He was acting real creepy. I turned down his offer. I didn't want to see him again. Another one of the episode's bachelors, actor Jed Mills, recalled to LA Weekly that Rodney was kind of quiet. I remember him because I told my brother about this one guy who was kind of good looking but kind of a creep. He was always looking down and not making eye contact. At a popular dating show before background checks on their bachelors, they will have discovered that this kind of good looking but kind of creepy guy already spent 3 years in prison for raping and beating an 8-year-old girl, which landed him on FBI's 10th most wanted fugitive list. But sometimes a background check can't even uncover the whole story. In Rodney's case, the whole story consisted of at least 4 prior murders that they hadn't been linked to yet. As you can probably imagine, Cheryl's rejection likely fueled Alcala's fire. In total, before and after the television appearance, the sadistic dating game killer claimed that he killed between 50 and 100 people. Rodney was born in San Antonio, Texas in 1943. His father moved the family to Mexico when Alcala was 8 years old, only to abandon them 3 years later. His mother then moved Rodney and his sister to a suburban in Los Angeles. At the age of 17, Rodney entered the army as a clerk, but after a nervous breakdown, he was medically discharged due to a mental health issue. Then Rodney went to attend UCLA, but he wouldn't stay on the straight and narrow for long. Like many serial killers, Rodney had a style. His signature were beating, biting, raping and strangling, often choking victims until the point of unconsciousness. Then once they came to, he started the process over again. On his first non-attempted killing, he was only successful at only 2 of these things. The victim was Talia Shapiro, an 8-year-old girl he lured into his Hollywood apartment in 1968. Shapiro barely survived her rape and beating. Her life was saved by a passerby who reported a tip to the police on a possible abduction. Alcala fled his apartment when the police arrived and remained a fugitive for years afterwards. He moved to New York and used alias John Berger to enroll in film school at New York University. Ironically enough, he studied under Roman Polanski. After being recognized thanks to a FBI poster, Alcala was finally identified as the perpetrator in the rape and attempted murder of Talia Shapiro. He was arrested in 1971, but only sent to prison on charges of assault. Shapiro's family kept from testifying, making a rape conviction unattainable. After spending 2 years behind bars, he soon spent another 2 years in prison for assaulting a 13-year-old girl. Then authorities regrettably let Alcala travel to New York to visit relatives. Investigators now believe that within 7 days of his arrival there, he killed a college student named Eileen Hoover. who was the daughter of popular Hollywood owner Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin. Soon after all of this, Alcala somehow got a job at the Los Angeles Times as a typesetter in 1978, under his real name, which was now attached to a criminal record. A typist by night he lured in young girls to be part of his professional photography portfolio, some of them never to be heard from again. The year after the dating game appearance, 17-year-old Liane Leadham was lucky enough to walk away from a photo shoot with Rodney Alcala, and she remarked how he showed her his portfolio, which in addition to shots of women, including spread after spread of naked teenage boys. Police has since released parts of Rodney's portfolio to the public to aid in a victim identification. Over the years, a few have stepped forward to reveal their horrifying moments with his predator. The case that would finally break Rodney's killing spree was that of 12-year-old Robin Samsoe. She disappeared from Huntington Beach, California on her way to ballet class on June the 20th, 1979. Samsoe's friends said that a stranger approached them on the beach and asked them if they wanted to do a photo shoot. They declined and Samsoe left, borrowing a friend's bike to get to the ballet. At some point between the beach and the class, Samsoe disappeared. Nearly 12 days later, a park ranger found her animal-ravaged bones in a forested area near the Pasadena foothills of the Sierra Madre. Upon questioning Samsoe's friends, a police sketch artist drew up a composite, and Alcala's former parole officer recognized the face. Between the sketch, Alcala's criminal past, and the discovery of Alcala's Seattle storage locker, police felt confident they had their man. Finally, in 2010, 31 years later after the murder, the third trial was held and Alcala was sentenced to death. And he died the 24th of July 2021 this year.